Watch tomorrow night at 10. Why do so many of you believe there was a conspiracy behind the assassination of JFK? The reason researchers say there are too many bizarre circumstances that led to a conspiracy. And when the West Texas connection first surfaced in 1989, many experts say that connection filled in a lot of missing pieces to the Kennedy assassin puzzle. Well, tonight, a look back on the day that will never be forgotten, November 22nd, 1963. Another part in our continuing series of exclusive reports, JFK, the West Texas connection.
This is from the United Press from Dallas. President Kennedy and Governor John Connally have been cut down by assassins' bullets in downtown Dallas.
I think rogue elements of the CIA killed him with the mafia as a junior partner and using Oswald as the patsy. Oswald never fired a shot, and it was covered up from the very top.
Larry Howard, who's the director of the JFK Assassination Center in Dallas, will be spending the rest of his life looking for evidence to solve the assassination of John Kennedy in November of 1963. Howard, like other researchers, believe more than one gunman was involved. They believe the deadly shot killing the president came from the Grassy Knoll area. Midlander Rickie White says his dad, Roscoe White, who worked for the Dallas Police Department, fired the fatal shot.
My father is the famous Grassy Knoll assassin. He is the Dallas police officer that participated behind the Grassy Knoll that fired the two fatal shots into Kennedy. I do not believe that Lee Oswald fired any shots or killed anybody that day.
You truly believe Rickie's story?
I believe Rickie White is telling the truth.
As the president was rushed to Parkland Hospital and the drama of trying to save Kennedy's life was underway, minutes after the shooting, Dallas police say they have a suspect, Lee Harvey Oswald. But as Big Two's Deanne Holcomb has discovered, researchers say the circumstances surrounding his arrest are questionable.
Harvey Oswald fit the description of the man seen on the 6th floor of the schoolbook depository building, where Dallas police say was the scene of the crime. There, a rifle and shell casings had been found. It's believed Oswald fled the depository and ended up at the Texas Theater, although no one really knows why. That's where police arrested him. At this point, some researchers say the facts just don't add up. They say Oswald was wanted for killing Dallas police officer J.D. Tippet at 1 p.m. That's when newspaper reports say the announcement went out over the police radio. But that's 15 minutes before Tippet was gunned down. White says his dad also killed Tippet.
They were taking somebody to left field, which would have to be Oswald. They were all three in the car at the time, and then nobody knows what took place inside the car because we weren't there. But a commotion took place. Oswald jumped out and ran. That's the reason why he was seen in the vicinity. My father jumped out of the car to chase Oswald down, ran back in the back of the alley. When he couldn't run him down, he came back to the car. Now, what are you going to do with Officer Tippet at this time? You're going to shoot him.
Reverend Jack Shaw, a longtime friend of the White family, says he was told Oswald was set up.
In meeting with Geneva about 3 years ago, some things came back to her memory that she shared with me. She said that they were down at Jack Ruby's place, and Roscoe and Jack Ruby were in this room talking, and she was overhearing the conversation of the plan to assassinate President Kennedy. Oswald was a patsy.
I didn't shoot anybody else.
As Oswald sat in jail not yet charged with killing the president, over at Parkland Hospital a fight would break out over Kennedy's body between Secret Service agents and local authorities. Dallas doctors had wanted to perform an autopsy. The Secret Service wanted Kennedy's body flown to Maryland.
There was a lot of
pushing and shoving and grabbing the casket, and several times they pulled the casket completely off the truck.
While the country mourns Kennedy's death, Oswald is blasted away by Dallas nightclub owner Jack Ruby as Dallas police were taking Oswald to another place for questioning.
He's been shot. He's been shot. Lee Oswald has been...
A year later, the Warren Commission would announce to the world Oswald was the lone gunman in the murder of JFK. It claims only 3 shots were fired, coming from behind the president's motorcade. Many disagree with the lone gunman finding. Dr. Charles Crenshaw was at Parkland Hospital and was one of the doctors trying to save the president.
It was obvious to me that something had been done to cover up the wounds that we had seen at Parkland to go along with the position that Lee Oswald had been the lone shooter and had shot him from the school book depository.
I ended up in the school book depository, and I walked over to the window next to the one Oswald was supposed to have used, and I looked out at the kill zone out there, and having been a sniper in Vietnam and having several body count of my own, I could see exactly what had happened. It was a headshot from the front. I know, I've made them.
Here are a few more facts for you. In 1969, Dallas Police Chief Jesse Curry told a news reporter, quote, "We don't have any proof that Oswald fired the rifle and never did. Nobody has yet been able to put him in that building with a gun in his hand," end quote. And several witnesses that day in 1963, including Dallas policemen, encountered men with Secret Service identification at Dealey Plaza and the Grassy Knoll area before and after the assassination. Yet, there were no agents specifically